Great day, everyone. Welcome to our lunchtime tea talk, next level conversation, level up with the Akbars. Today, we are going to be talking about fitness. I said fitness internally and fitness in regards to activity. Now, fitness is so important because not only does your body thrive if you're moving and grooving, but if you're not working out, if you're not moving, then your body actually stops producing and responding the way you would like it to. I can definitely attest to that. Pre-COVID was getting up, walking every day and was moving around and, getting up every morning and doing that. And what happened for me is once I stopped doing that every day, it became a struggle to start back. I've still been struggling to start back walking every day just in the neighborhood. I think what happened was when those fires came up and, in the Bay Area and the air quality got really bad. So we'll pick up when the air quality got better. Well, the air quality got better and still haven't started walking again. So, you can please place your comments in the chat. Talk about where you may be struggling in regards to fitness. Regarding fitness, this is just a really important topic. So I just want to read something real quick while I'm waiting on my co-host to jump on. I'm going to read 10 fitness facts. These are 10 fitness facts. The first one, exercise boosts brain power. I definitely know that because if I'm not moving and grooving, when I'm high energy, when I'm talking and walking, even if I'm listening to my motivation or my music, I notice that my brain reacts and responds a lot better than when I don't. So now there's our co-host, Mr. Akbar. How are you, Mr. Akbar?
Doing great. Can you hear me?
We can definitely hear you. I was going over the 10 fitness facts, and let me just give you a toast. Our Wednesday lunchtime tea talk. This is a great liver detox with some green tea and, of course, ginger crystals, right?
Ooh, ooh.
Isn't
Huh?
that exciting?
Make you want to shout.
So the first fitness fact was one that exercise boosts your brain power.
Oh,
And I was just really understanding and thinking about, this is so true because when I'm not working out and I'm not moving around, I can't think as fast as I normally would. But when I'm out in the air and running and just feeling, really good about the sun and the oxygen, it seems like my brain operates a lot better. What do you think about that, Mr. Edgar?
absolutely. It's a chemical release in the brain. Just brought my glasses.
Well, I had to open the window, so
I got it.
I love transparency. Everything should be professional and wonderful, but sometimes you just got to do
Yeah.
some adjusting, right?
I mean, life show up all the time. This is why I'm so involved with it because it
Yeah.
just keeps showing up for me and allowing me to be in the grace of Almighty God. But the question about that, it's a chemical release.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so when those chemicals are released, it just makes you feel good. Isn't it ironic? How sometimes we overdo it with our exercises, and even though we be experiencing, like, the resistance of it all, but still that chemical release in our
Mhm.
brain gives us a rush to keep on pushing,
Yeah.
right? And so, that's a clear indication. I know when I'm able to exercise, physically, and get that dopamine rush, right? And it gives me the understanding that the resistance now is how I'm built. You see, and so in other areas of my life, it seems sometimes when we get a little resistance, we want to alter the course.
Mhm.
But now fitness, it keep us psychologically fit. Wouldn't you agree, Mrs. Akbar?
Right. I definitely do, and that was a comment I made before you did, and so the second one, if I may go to, it says movement melts away stress. Movement melts away stress.
You got to move.
Man, what do you think about that, Mr. Akbar?
I mean, the activity. Sometimes where are people generally posed or positioned or when you're referring to somebody who may be depressed, what do you think about what are they doing?
Sitting on the
Well,
couch.
probably somewhere curled up doing nothing. You see, and if you can just move, you beginning to shift, that energy that got you stuck. And so, I mean, it seemed like such a simple concept, but it actually works. How do you know when somebody's lying down when you're talking to them on the telephone? Well, you just know it, right? And so, it's like if you want to shift how you feeling, you got to shift your position. That's why we just got to keep moving. We got to keep shifting. We got to keep repositioning ourselves because it's a psychological effect knowing that we can. I can reposition myself. So we start off physically, and then it's transformed or transposed in a mental and physical, I mean psychological way. We get the benefits from that too. What do you think?
Yeah.
Was
Well,
that okay?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that it talks about that it melts away stress. It doesn't say it relieves stress or get rid of stress. It said it melts it away. So what that's telling me is, and I know that to be true, because if you're sitting stagnant and you're sitting still, then you have a lot of time to, play these tapes over in your head and create your own scenarios. But if you're active and you're moving and you're taking care of things and you're, putting one foot in front of another, the next thing you know, it's come evening and it's time to get ready to start preparing for the next day and going to bed. But you didn't have time for that stress to inundate you and overwhelm you. So I would definitely say movement melts away stress.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. The next one is, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, about that, and for people who may be challenged, with getting that movement started.
Yeah.
And so it's like to encourage yourself just to do it. Just to take a minimum effort, and that's a tremendous step in progress. You understand? So it's like sometimes not wanting to get out of bed, and something keeps saying get up, and something say just a few more minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you overcome that level? I mean, when it's intensified to the point now that it's paralyzing you in your daily activities, and just being conscious of the fact that I have to move. You see, remember that time I was telling you when I got paralyzed in my sleep, but I was awake and I couldn't get my position, but I knew I had to move in order for that to happen. So I was able to struggle to the edge of the bed and fell out. Right, but I got that paralyzed situation off me. Why? Because I was able to move. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, it's a spirit.
Yeah, so I don't know if you wanted me to tie that into what you were just talking about, but it came to my mind. And so I thought, as extreme as that is, the challenge is just getting yourself to move to a different position. You see, reposition yourself wherever you are, whether it's physical or psychological, you just got to move yourself from the emotional place that's keeping you trapped. And so it's difficult sometimes moving.
Well, you know what, too? It's the food that we eat. A lot of times the food that we eat, is really heavy, especially in the African American community. We got the beans, the rice, the macs and the cheese, the mashed potatoes and the gravy, the ribs, the links, the chicken, the steak, the shrimp, you know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times if you don't space that stuff out, even though it's like, okay, we've all been conditioned to eating it, but the reality is it can be not so healthy for our bodies, So incorporating more fruits and more vegetables. That's why I'm excited about the yellow watermelon that we have, because every time I kind of want to put something in my mouth, have a snack or something like that, I can opt to go get some of that where I know it's really healthy and full of antioxidants and vitamin C and some other wonderful things that I probably need to research in regards. But if I was to get back to the 10, fitness facts. The third one, it says exercise gives you energy, and we can all attest to that. The more we move, the more that we groove. You get on the treadmill, you do some stretches, you lift some weights. You might not start out like that. You might start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but if you're doing it consistently and you're making it a habit, then now you're up to 30 minutes and then eventually to an hour, and then it doesn't even seem like you've been in there that long because now your body is craving it. Your body's craving the motion, your body's craving the movement, and also the weights. Now, I did want to read something about, it says, do you know, according to the experts, that deadlifts allow you to load the spine and the hips, which are prone to osteoporosis, which fix your with 3 times your weight. So following each lift, the cells referred to as the osteoblast fills in any stress area that your skeleton has. So once those areas have calcified, they turn into hard rock bone. So can you imagine when you're lifting 3 times your body weight, that pressure is also compacting any areas that may have like pockets or maybe not be have any cartilage, but it all compresses it. And once it's compressed, then it can solidify and actually become helpful bone to you. Did you know that, Mr. Akbar?
Had no idea. Had no idea that was a reality.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily lift. I never have really. When I was adolescent, we used to try to prove those points, how much you can lift, but I never really was into the powerlifting like that. I always more involved with repetition, lighter weight, but repetition that I can work with.
Yes.
And then I will build from there, because I understand that when you're doing anything, and we're talking about fitness, but we're segueing into other areas of our life as well, because it requires discipline. And sometimes what ends up happening is that we over exaggerate, overextend, our starting capabilities. And so we overdo it starting off, and then our mind tell us it's too much. So we got to build up. So, we got this thing in there, like, especially in society now, everything's microwave. Sometimes we go to the gym and think if we do our exercises, extensively, we go home, look at ourselves and wonder why it ain't changed. Well, it's going to require some time and some effort.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing with the discipline of it all. You got to out, even when you're going to get yourself tuned up in shape, what are your goals? You see, and so when you start looking at, well, I want to be more lean around the mid-session, then you start working on that, and then you got a time element involved based on the repetition that you do. And so when you're consistent with that, you look over a period of time and you'll realize, man, I'm achieving my goals. But if you try to overdo it and overextend yourself and want the results pretty quick, then you're gonna get frustrated and you're gonna give up on that. And see, what the mind now does is also segue that to other areas of your life. And now you become somehow up here psychologically someone prone to giving up when there's resistance, when there's not immediate results.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like the planning of it all. What are your end game? What's your end game? What are you intending to get out of it? And then you set up the regimen or the plan to make it happen by putting in the efforts. Does that make sense to what you were talking about?
It makes a lot of sense. And when you were talking, it made me think, even though I'm reading the 10 fitness facts, I'm thinking all of this can be applied in other areas of your life too. So for instance, the next one says, it's not hard to find time for fitness.
For what?
So it's not hard to find time for fitness. And I love that, because that brings me to even like our business that says, you can do anything you need to do as long as you schedule it in.
Yeah, correct.
Right. And so fitness also needs to be scheduled in. I mean, like you and I, we get up in the morning and just talking, we get on our yoga mats and do stretches. You do a lot more extensiveness than me, but I do more stretching, more yoga. You do a little bit more lifting weights and, other body regiments. So what I wanted to say, when you're doing those 10 sets of 10, and so to speak, right?
Right.
Mine is kind of more so go stretching with my body where I feel kinks at, and from going from the upper to the lower body. So yeah, find time for that. And a good time to do that is in the morning when you first wake up, just to wake your body up, along with drinking some water to let the inside, because this was talk about fitness, inward fitness as well. Conditioning your body to be healthy from the inside out. And it starts with definitely hydrating, drinking some water, Ed Milet talk. There you go. That's a big thing of water. Where's mine?
Yeah.
My tea right now, but yeah, just being conscious of, let me hydrate myself, especially, as you get older, you need more. Children, they can go a lot longer without having any water, but someone getting older, you want to make sure that you're drinking at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. And I know it seems like a lot, but you can do it if you schedule it in, correct?
Absolutely. And adding to that, if I may.
Yeah.
So and H2O, that's a chemical term. H2O is so necessary, but it's like one of those other things what I was telling you about. God in his grace, he put breathing as an automatic system. So we don't have to remember to do that.
Yes. Yes.
We have to remember to drink water, because sometimes we can go without water until we realize we need it again.
Yeah, I did.
And so, so in other words, on a conscious level, we have to be aware of how vitally important it is to have the H2O intake.
Yeah, especially in this fast moving world, right?
Yeah, on a daily basis, right? And so it's like sometimes, and for me particularly, and I'm conscious, but there has been times I say, wait a minute, how much water did I drink today?
Right.
You see, because I know how necessary it is for me to do that. But in my activities, sometimes, I forget. Just like that's why I keep my water bottle in my office. I know I spend a lot of time in my office. And so while it's convenient, I'm going to drink it. You see, and sometimes people bypass drinking the water because it's not a convenient thing for them to do. And so it's necessary, right? Just think if we didn't remember we didn't have to if breathing wasn't automatic.
Oh my goodness!
And then we be trying to figure out. Oh man, why am I dizzy? What's going on? Hey, you gotta breathe.
Yeah. Well, look, that takes me to the next one, Mr. Akbar. It says, "Watch this. Fitness can help build relationships."
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I remember just in our situation, right? I mean, you was a Tybo queen. Remember? Well, you used to be up at 5 a.m, right? And I used to be thinking, maybe you already got me. But it wasn't about me. It was, but it wasn't. You see, and you was doing that because, that's the place where you were at. And it was necessary for you to get up and do that. And that was amazing. I used to be like, wow, man, she is something else. But the reality is the relationships, and this is not and I'm not saying this as a derogatory towards anybody, but when people allow themselves, and I'm speaking from personal experience, because remember I was telling you, man, you remember I got away from doing my exercise, and my belly was a belly, and I was like, hey baby, I got a belly, right? And I knew I had to get busy, but I was spending time looking at this belly that I had gotten, right? And I started telling myself, because self-talk is very important, right? I started telling myself, it'll never go away if you don't get busy making it go away. And so at first it was difficult, but I used to tell myself, right, when I used to feel the burn, yeah, get going, fat, right? I used to have fun doing it, right? Because, when you start experiencing the pain of it, right, because of the resistance, and then, it's like, oh man, this might be too difficult. No, be gone, fat. And so I was saying that all of that pain that I was experiencing was fat crying out, "Oh, leave me alone!" Oh, anyway, yeah,
Well, I like that it says that about building relationships as well, because just like you get a relationship with food when you're overeating, you get a relationship with the couch, you get a relationship with TV, you kind of start
mhm,
isolating and Xing people out. You know, when you're running and you're getting up every day, whether you're walking, going to the gym or whatnot, you see other people that's doing it as well. And it's not to say that those people weren't struggling to have to get up that morning to actually do it. So they understand and they can identify the challenges. And another thing is when I was seeing people in the neighborhood walking on a regular basis, you see their progress, you see their success. And then you definitely want to say to them, hey, good job. You know, I see you, you know, instead of saying, I see you, you know, you were able to shed those 10, 15 pounds. But just the acknowledgement, can you imagine how good it makes a person feel to know that you notice them and they notice you as well? It's not even that you have to have a long conversation, but just, hey, I see you. I'm here. I'm in this with you, right?
right.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
next one, you wanted to comment on that? Because
I was just saying, I hear you, sister. I hear you.
now watch this one, Mr. Akbar. Exercise helps ward off diseases.
Whoa, and you know that's true.
Yep, I
You know,
do.
because
Yep.
you can lie around and do nothing and get sick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
check this out too in reference to that. Just like when you're not able to move about because you lost some of your your mobility.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got to turn you over. If they
Wow.
don't turn you over, guess what happens?
Bed sores.
You see? So
Yeah.
that's just one area. But now just think when you're not moving your limbs,
Yeah.
right? And then you start trying to move. Oh man,
Yeah. They say if
you
you
know,
don't use it,
joints,
lose it.
the joints stiffed up. I mean, all that. And so not to get into the internal part of it, you see, because when you're not fit, when you don't involve yourself with fitness, right, it affects you psychologically, right, which is going to affect the level of blood flow, right, and where is it going? Is going into your heart, and so you interfere with your whole system, of how things flow throughout your body, by first not being fit, and then you thinking negative thoughts about who you are, and everything now is tuned in against everything that you don't like about you. And so the reality is you're feeding that into your blood, you're feeding that into the energy of and then you're consumed by that. And guess what? You end up not ever doing anything about it unless somebody comes to your assistance. People lie around, man, and just get overweight, right? And they eat and they complain, and on and on and on. But guess what? Fitness is the key. Keep
Mhm.
yourself from getting into that place. And if you're there, get some assistance, get around some people who can encourage you, not discourage you, and you'll be great. You know,
Yes. Almost what you just said. The next one says fitness pumps up the heart. So when you're looking to strengthen your heart, especially if you get some diagnoses of, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, borderline diabetic, all of these diagnoses, just a little bit of movement that can regulate that blood, start pumping that heart, getting that blood flowing, pushing that oxygen through each part of your body, your limbs or whatnot. And the body starts to respond to it as well. The body tightens up, the skin tightens up, it firms up. You don't have so much ripples and dimples in certain places. Now you have massive muscle tone, body mass is, toned up, not body fat. So yeah, you get it. And then the thing about it is you got to keep that stuff up. You got to be repetitious with that because you can build your body up and then you get 2-3 days without doing anything, you definitely see the results. It's almost like it goes down a lot faster than it takes to build it up. That's for sure.
particularly when you're a little older. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I got to maintain a routine.
Mm-hmm.
At 66, all I got to do is stop. Just like I said to you early in the broadcast. When I stopped, man, that belly. And people used to ask me, "Hey, man, what's going on?" and I was kind of like shame, you know, and I didn't want to start saying my wife feed me real good. I didn't want to start that, because we was talking about that the other day about,
Yeah.
people in different regions, they think that's a badge of honor to be overweight.
Yeah.
Right? That good eating, and they be slapping their big belly and all that. No, it's not necessarily that good eating. It's that too much eating of
Fat,
good stuff.
wealthy, and wise. But guess what? That's the next one. The next one, number 8, says exercise lets you eat more. And I
you need to eat more because you're burning the calories, you're burning the nutrients.
Yeah, right. But I noticed too and then also you're building up an appetite, and because you're burning it, the body's going to require more. So you get an opportunity to add a little sugar to it because the body burns that off. Add some carbs, right? Do a lot of fruits and vegetables, and even some protein if you're someone that's not vegan or vegetarian. But that way your body too is being able to release those poisons and toxins opposed to holding them in and then now turning to fat, right?
Right.
Now, we've been talking, this is a good topic. We got about 3 minutes left. I have 2 more. It says exercise boosts performance. Now, that performance can be in all areas. That can be work performance, sleep performance, sexual performance, just being just high energy, being in a better mood, right? Being in a better state of mind. Being in a better state of mind is so important. I notice you talk a lot about self-talk, and to be in a better state of mind will definitely help the self-talk and also the self-will, because when you're doing good and you're moving, you feel better. So you're less apt to do things that really don't serve you, like smoking and drinking and overeating.
Right.
Because you're on this healthy regimen now and it just doesn't fit. Right. Yeah. And also focus. Your focus is more laser as far as, what are my goals? What are my dreams, aspirations? And, if I do something that's going to inhibit that or something that's going to interrupt it, then I'm going to be like 2 steps backwards. So I like that exercise boost performance. And the last one is weight loss is not the most important goal. And sometimes it's not in regards to exercising. It's just more so about being healthy overall. Would you agree, Mr. Agbar?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. I would agree with that. So sometimes to the contrary, losing weight can be not so good. Really. So I mean, that's why in the industry that we're in now, height and weight is crucial, as a determining factor. How you're going to be rated, how you're going to be, if you will. And so the reality is I'm 6'1", and my weight should be anywhere between 180 and 200.
Yeah.
Either way, right? I'm too much or too less.
Yeah. It's important to get on a BMI machine too, and just to see how much more fat do you have than body mass, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in our last couple minutes, Mr. Agbar, I just want to read something about, this is another benefit of exercise. It says it reduces your dementia risk. And I didn't know if people knew that. Physical activity improves cognitive functions in healthy elderly persons and potentially reduce the risk of developing cognitive impairments. Now, I just want to really chime in with that because so many elder people that I see that are doing things that, play cards, that maybe go on bus trips, get with a partner or a friend, go out for the weekend, just different things. You notice they're more with it. They're more functioning. They're actually doing a lot more for themselves than the ones that you see kind of just sitting around watching TV, maybe crocheting or knitting. They're very limited on the actual mobility that they can grow to increase. Because see, just because you're older doesn't mean that your activity should be decreasing. If you continue to keep your momentum going, then everything continues to grow and go in your life as well. Would you agree with that?
I would. And so that's the important piece too. In closing, that's a great way to close it out because the activity in the brain, it becomes limited to the activities that you do.
Right.
And if your brain is only required to do minimum, then that becomes the standard in how you see the world.
Yes.
And so, someone who's active is out in the world experiencing that brain is active, to all of that activity. And so it stays more equipped to receive and to give out. And so, it's like, if you're not using it, your brain goes to sleep on you.
Yep. And the last one says it also decreases your osteoporosis risk. So fitness, especially load bearing exercise, as I mentioned, weight bearing is important for bone health. Strengthening your exercise like weightlifting, jogging, hiking, stair climbing, step aerobics, dancing, and racket sports are best because, you would think sometimes people think the opposite. If you're putting more friction on the bones, then you can cause a bone spur or, a fracture or things of that nature. But no, if you're keeping that movement going, you're strengthening the bones. You're actually putting more blood flow into the bones. So they are hardening more so to support you opposed to getting brittle and causing harm. So, man, I'm glad that we talked about this topic. I think it's really important about, fitness, eating well, fitness, internal health, and internal wellness. So next week, we'll be getting together and we're going to be talking about your favorite.
Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun. But we're going to talk about fun in relationship to well-deserved fun. And what does that look like?
Oh,
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Akbar, for joining me on our lunchtime tea talk, Level Up with the Akbars, next level conversation. We will see you next week and have a glorious day.
My honor and my pleasure. Peace and blessings.
Ashe.
Ashe.